You're watching KSTP-TV, Minnesota's News Channel 5.
Live from Minnesota's News Channel, KSTP Channel 5, Bob Bruce, Wendy Lubavitch, Bill Ranby, and Joe Schmidt bring you Eyewitness News Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on this Monday morning. I'm Lindsay Strand in for Wendy Lubavitch. Wendy has been covering the Olympics in Calgary and this week taking just a few days off.
Yeah, a well-deserved vacation after that long stint up at the Olympics. I'm Bob Bruce. Let's go up to the Weather Center now and meteorologist Bill Ranby checking on the weather for us. As you can see, it's almost time for you to break out your short-sleeved shirts because it's getting very warm out there.
It was nice over the weekend, Bob. We had temperatures in the 40s for highs, and that was not too bad. 45 yesterday. In the Twin Cities this morning, it's not quite as cool as it was supposed to get. We had some light winds and partly cloudy skies. And let's check those current conditions now. 28 degrees, the current temp in the Twin Cities. The humidity is 88%. The winds are calm, and the pressure is rising at 30.10. Skies again are clear in the Twin Cities, partly cloudy in northern Minnesota. It's going to be another nice day, a few degrees cooler today. I'll tell you why with a weak front on the way, but no big deal. Temperatures this week averaging out slightly above normal again. Bob, Lindsay, another nice one coming up, fairly dry this week too.
Okay, Bill, we'll check with you in a couple of minutes.
All right.
In the news this morning, still no strike against Northwest Airlines by flight attendants, but some sort of job action could happen today. Union and company negotiators met with federal mediators for 4 hours on Sunday. The union officials emerged from the session determined to force Northwest to drop its proposal to continue a two-tier wage system for attendants.
The major issue is the B scale. And with the B scale, there's been no reason we should settle whatsoever. It's not going to come that way. To be an all-out campaign against Northwest, I can't see how they back themselves into this particular social conscious corner to the extent that the people are, the good flight attendants are being ripped off that particular way.
The Teamsters top negotiator, William Genoese, says he will seek a face-to-face meeting with Northwest Chief Executive Officer Stephen Rothmeyer. Genoese says if the airline executive will not move on the salary and wage issue, job action will follow. Genoese said guerrilla tactics are already underway in an effort to hamper Northwest flight operations. A selected strike, probably in Detroit, is another option. The union bargainer will meet among themselves beginning at 10 this morning. No school again this morning for children in the Elk River School District. Some 300 of these teachers have been on the picket line for nearly a week now. The Elk River teachers want better pay and benefits. About 5,700 students are now out of school, but not for long. The district has been hiring substitutes to fill in. Classes could resume next week for certain grades.
A lot of people from St. Paul know this morning that they made their point in a big way yesterday. The demonstrators came from a St. Paul neighborhood that's notorious for drug trafficking. The message of these marchers, just say no to drugs. They're from near the University and Summit neighborhood. The march was sponsored by the Black Ministerial Alliance and Black People Against Dope. A house in another St. Paul neighborhood is sparking not 2, but 3 investigations. We're talking about East Cliff, the home of University President Ken Keller. Keller is under fire for spending more than $10.5 million in ways that cause officials to raise their eyebrows. Lou Harvin reports on what greeted Keller on his return home from a Hawaiian vacation.
Police officers and extra security were called in to guard this historic mansion Sunday to make sure students protesting would not cause any trouble. They did not. They confined their activity to lots of noise about the $1.5 million spent to fix up East Cliff, all of it based on Keller's approval.
Keller, we want to know what you're doing with our dough.
Becky Minnick, a senior in the College of Liberal Arts, says she's concerned about some of the proposed cuts in future classes, and she's trying to generate support for Keller's resignation.
And now we want to tell Ken Keller it's time to resign. Aloha, Ken. Yeah!
Chris Pratt, a sophomore at the U of M, says he believes Keller has made a big mistake and that he has made many more.
No, I think that this is just one in a series of misuses of money, and it's been a problem. I mean, this just is the latest example.
Students at today's demonstration brought 500 signatures calling for Keller's resignation, and they say they are not going to stop here. On Thursday, they'll be at Morrill Hall, keeping the pressure on. Lou Harvin, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
One man who is definitely starting to save each and every penny these days is Will Steger. Steger and his crew are gearing up for their Antarctic expedition in 1989 by getting physicals over the weekend. The men will make a training trip to Greenland before heading south. Steger says he's trying to run the expedition as efficiently as he can.
Not all the efforts to get across the snow are half a continent away. We want to show you what was going on this weekend in Siren, Wisconsin. Maybe not all went as well as it should, but for those huddling together, snow skipping can have its rewards. And here we're going to take a look at it.
It's obviously something you wouldn't want to do at home unless you're an expert, or maybe not even do anywhere.
Under a lot of supervision.
6:05 right now, 28 degrees in the Twin Cities.
And when our report continues, we'll have the latest on the unrest this morning in Panama.
When your telephone is out of service, your business goes on hold. Everything freezes in midair. You need to act fast. Turn over your phone. Look for the Thai Communications label. Then call Aircom. Aircom provides complete maintenance and repair for all Thai products. Turn over your phone. If it says Thai Communications, Aircom puts you back in motion.
Aircom, may we help you?
Look who's coming to Ground Round. TV's Brave Star. And he's got sizzling hot specials on steak and shrimp. Save $1 on our famous super steak, on our hearty surf and turf, on Golden Gulf shrimp, or on our great tasting twin catch. We've got something sizzling hot for the kids too. Free Brave Star sticker albums and free Brave Star collectible stickers. So who's coming to Ground Round? You are!
Plymouth, Minnesota's Carpet and Wallpaper Warehouse Sale.
You bet you can. It's a great time to buy carpet.
Like Carton by Queen with DuPont's Antron Nylon. A stylish Berber, now just $13.99, completely installed. DuPont Antron Nylon resists stains.
Plymouth, Minnesota's Install Yourself Kangaback Carpet is on sale too, from $3.88.
Here's Plymouth, Minnesota's Wallpaper Department. 700 styles in stock, on sale from $2 a single roll. Plymouth, Minnesota's Warehouse Sale.
Carpeting and wallpaper now on sale.
Well, this is a man everybody's happy to see this morning. Beautiful weekend.
It was
you did
nice.
a great job, Bill.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lindsay. Yeah,
thank you for
keep
that.
the checks, the donations coming in, and we'll keep the weather coming.
Tell you though, I'm going to get a surgical mask because you've got a little bit of a cold. You've got a cold and a sore throat. I'm like this. Okay, don't breathe on me the rest of the show.
It's
Okay.
that time of year.
This time of the year, you get the changeable weather. Yeah, you can't go outside. Can't go out with a short sleeve sweater just yet. Make sure you wear the jacket this morning. In comparison to last year, though, of course, it's been a much colder February and a much colder winter than we had last year. Take a look at these February stats from last year. Now, we know that last year was the third warmest February ever. Every day in the month of February is above normal. This year, only 10 of 28 days so far have been above normal. Today will probably be 11 for 29, but again, much colder than last year. However, the winter will work out to be quite a bit colder. Throughout the entire winter, temperatures have averaged about 3 or 4 degrees below normal since about the mid part of the winter, and overall, I think we'll average out close to normal for this winter. Current temp in the Twin Cities is now 28 degrees. You can see 28 is also at St. Cloud, and 29 for Brainerd, 27 up in Duluth. The northern part of the state, a little bit cooler up there. There's a very weak front. War Road is 19, 21 for International Falls. The front will sag south, and it'll leave its colder up to the north. So again, the Twin Cities temperature is 28 degrees. The dew point is 24 now. The humidity is 85%. Winds are southwest at 3. Pressure rising. Skies are clear. Satellite picture shows us clear skies across southern Minnesota. A few patchy clouds to the north of us, and most of them will stay north of us today. It's possible we could get a flurry or two down here, but I think for the most part, dry, fairly sunny conditions, and by this afternoon, very nice across the southern part of the state. Here's the front kind of washing out into a weak trough. About 38 for the Twin Cities, 34 for Alexandria, and 28 for Duluth with sunny to partly cloudy skies. Okay, by midday, looking for partly cloudy skies at about 35 degrees. And then later on drive time this afternoon, back to mostly clear, 35. Somewhere in there, the high will get about 38 degrees. Now, later on tonight, the temp drops off to 15, mostly clear. And then tomorrow, Now, a little bit cooler, about 38 degrees, sunny skies in the morning, maybe some flurries by evening, but a pretty dry week coming up. We'll take a look at that, of course, the week ahead. Outlook coming up next. You'll want to stay tuned for that.
Don't you just love this time of year, though, when the snow starts melting and you say, oh, gee, that's where I left that thing. I knew it was somewhere in the yard.
Well, you find all those stuff in the parties over the winter, yeah.
6:10 right now. Jerry Peterson at Metro Traffic Control watching the traffic for us. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and I was lucky. I found my mower right away. So traffic is moving fairly well this morning. You'll find that 35W southbound between 694 and Highway 36, moderate with speeds at 55. 494 both directions between Cedar Avenue and Highway 100. You'll find it moderate but building to moderately heavy with speeds at 55. Be on the lookout 94 eastbound at 280. An accident. Patrol is on the scene. Should be clearing in the next couple of minutes here, but in the meantime, look for the slowdown. Speeds dropping to 45 miles per hour. The rest of the metro holding up very nicely. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live for Eyewitness News.
In Panama, no major developments overnight, but a lot of questions about how this is not only affecting the local government, but also the United States. In particular, the Panama Canal. Jean Meserve has more on this story from Panama.
The Panama Canal is of vital military and economic importance to the U.S., and two members of Congress suggest that if Noriega stays in power, the U.S. ought to reevaluate its commitment to hand it over to Panama at the end of this century.
I don't think anyone in this country is going to be interested in handing over the canal under circumstances that are very unstable.
If it's apparent by the time we get down to the negotiations for the turnover that we're dealing with a bunch of thugs who are dealing in international narcotic traffic, then I think we ought to reserve the right to rethink our position.
The U.S. doesn't want Noriega to stay in power, but what does it do next to try to get him out? The administration has ruled out military intervention, but Panama's economy, which is a wreck, is a possible pressure point. Though the administration has not committed itself to an economic embargo, the idea has support on Capitol Hill.
Let's come to his aid by going along with the trade embargo. I'll tell you what will take place. Noriega will be out within 1 week.
The U.S. believes support for Del Valle from the Organization of American States would help pressure Noriega. At a meeting last night, a dozen nations did speak out in Del Valle's behalf, but Noriega's man was seated as Panama's representative. Nonetheless, a Del Valle appointee claims to be the legitimate Panamanian ambassador to Washington.
I am the ambassador, I have the keys of the embassy, and I'm in charge.
But Noriega's ambassador to the UN says that means nothing when Del Valle has no power.
He does not have the army. He does not have the assembly. He does not have the political parties. And he does not have the street.
U.S. policymakers say until the Panamanian people demonstrate decisively that they want Noriega out, it will be hard to make the case for stronger action from Washington. Jean Meserve, ABC News, the State Department.
Next up in sports, the Olympic Games of Calgary, they're now history.
And the North Stars continue their playoff drive, going in the wrong direction. Joe Schmidt will be joining us next.
Sure is a lot of corn.
Uh-huh. One reason is our rootworm insecticide. Look here. Some say to apply in furrow, while universities recommend banding. So we do both with Lore's Band 15G in a T-band. It combines in furrow and banding for rootworm and cutworm control.
And that's why we get a lot of corn.
That's right.
It only happens every 4 years, the 29th of February. At Brookdale Chrysler Plymouth, it's only happening for 4 days. All used cars priced at just $29 down. 100 of them. Sports cars, $29 down. Economy cars, $29 down. Family cars, $29 down. And trucks, $29 down. No one can match our selection, and no one can match our prices. Any used car in our lot is just $29 down at Brookdale Chrysler Plymouth on Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Center. The sale ends Monday at 9 p.m. and won't be back for another 4 years. See you tomorrow.
Come and experience 25,000 square feet of unique shopping. Furniture and Things has furniture, from beautiful oak bedroom sets to plush and inviting country and contemporary sofa sets. And Things, they have furniture, from stately roll-top desks to a wide selection of comfortable glide rockers. And Things, they have furniture, from beautiful oak tables with quality gear-driven construction to elegant and timeless serving hutches. And Things, Furniture and Things believe in quality and service done the old-fashioned way, with tender, loving care.
Are you raising a future criminal? Parents of difficult children on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Monday afternoon at 4 on Channel 5.
It's all over. It's history. It's done. The United States
Didn't do diddly.
It really wasn't expected that they do diddly either because, you know, the East Germans and the Soviets, they start training kids when they're about 6 years old, and over here we kind of wait a little bit. The Olympic torch now moves to Calgary to Seoul, South Korea for the Summer Games. The Winter Games of 1988 won't be remembered for the medals that the U.S. won because there weren't that many. But there were some great stories and some outstanding efforts. They wrapped things up last night with the final ceremonies and a skating exhibition. All the top skaters took the ice with no judges to be found. Jill Trenery of Minnetonka will leave Calgary without a medal. That doesn't bother her as much as the fact that she did not perform to her best in the finals on Saturday night.
The point is that I've always been tough in competition, and here, the biggest competition of my life so far, yet, I skated one of my worst performances, and it's just hard to face. I think my problem was tonight was that I was thinking too much about getting the bronze medal because I wanted that so bad. I know my expectations are a little high, and I'm hard on myself, but I could visualize it, and I really thought I could get it. And I think I thought about a little bit too much about getting the medal instead of focusing in on just skating like I can skate, no big deal. It's just the Olympics, yeah, right.
Jill's fourth-place finish was the highest by a Minnesotan at the Games. She'll get a chance to redeem herself in a couple of weeks at the World Championships in Hungary. Both Katarina Witt and Debbie Thomas are retiring, and they probably won't be there. The North Stars would give their eye teeth for a fourth-place finish. That would mean the playoffs. But the way things are going, they'll have all their teeth at the end of the season. Yesterday, they lost to the Devils in New Jersey. Once again, the Stars got off to a great start. Rick Bohl looks like Rambo as he gets his second goal in 2 nights. They put the Stars up 2-0. Another rookie got his first NHL goal yesterday, Stéphane Roy. Yes, he got the Stars up 3-0, and he drove that one home. But the North Stars, they have those leads that have a way of diminishing. Pat Verbeek scored 4 goals for the Devils. This broke a 5-all tie, and the Devils went on to beat Minnesota 8-6. The Stars have only won 1 game in their last 12. The Gopher basketball team played a rare Sunday game in Madison and came up with a not-so-rare loss. The Badgers beat the Gophers 81-70. Just like the Stars, the Gophers got off to a good start. Mel Newbern with a nice feed to Marlon Maxey, and the Gophers only trailed by 1 at the half. But in the second half, the Gophers came out colder than a Will Steger dream vacation. The Gophers did not score for over 5 minutes. Meanwhile, the Badgers cranked it up. Trent Jackson hit 3-pointer right there. He was on his way to 30 points. The Gophers made a run at it late. Willie Burton to Richard Coffey. That pulled the Gophers to within 6, but that was as close as she got. Wisconsin wins at 81-70. The Gophers will play at Ohio State on Wednesday.
The Will Steger dream vacation.
Yeah, that's pretty cold.
Pretty creative on this Monday morning, Joe.
It's a good weekend.
For Monday, you're hot, let me tell you.
Well, right now it's 6:16 here in the Twin Cities, 28 degrees on this Monday morning.
We'll have the latest developments in the Jimmy Swaggart saga in about 10 minutes. That's when Eyewitness News Morning continues.
Every Saab benefits from the advanced technology that goes into our jet planes, our satellites, even our heavy trucks. So why buy a car and just get automotive technology when you can buy a Saab and get technology like no other automotive company in the world?
Now is a good time to buy or lease a Saab from one of 3 Minneapolis-St. Paul Saab dealers.
Life behind bars. What's it like to spend your days in prison, especially if you're a woman? I'm Bob Bruce, and on the next Twin Cities Live, we'll meet inmates from the Minnesota Correctional Facility in Shakopee. All women who are there to serve time for a felony they committed. For most of us, the image we have of a prison is walking down a long, bleak corridor, having the cell door slam behind us. Is this what it's really like? We'll take you inside the closed doors of Shakopee's Correctional Facility, Monday morning at 9, here on Channel 5.
Minnesota will always remember the '88 Winter Olympics, and we want you to know how proud we were to bring the Minnesota stories home to you.
Thanks for making Eyewitness to Calgary part of your Olympic memories.
Almost 6:20, 28 degrees in the Twin Cities, and time to take a look at the traffic conditions this morning. Jerry Peterson is over at Metro Traffic Control. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Traffic levels continue to build. Some good news for 94 eastbound at 280. The accident's been cleared, so you'll just find it moderate with speeds at the posted. Highway 12 inbound, you'll find it from Highway 100 to 94, moderate with speeds at 50 miles per hour. 694 westbound from Central to the River Bridge, moderate with speeds averaging 50 miles per hour. Here's the rest of the speeds around the metro. Should be coming up. There we go. I'm Jerry Peterson reporting live on Eyewitness News Morning.
Well, Bill, this morning, I'm not this morning, yesterday morning, I was out with my little girl taking a walk, and we found the first buds on the trees.
All right, it's been nice enough. It's funny, up in Calgary, they've had all kinds of budding going on with the shrubs and the trees up there.
But these are going to stay. We're not going to be back in any cold temperatures.
Well, we hope not. So this morning, I can't figure out, but I want to ask Bob this, but in the Farmer's Almanac, it says that today is Leap Day or Bisextile Day. I don't know exactly what it means. Bob, maybe you can help me out on that.
We do that on Twin Cities Live or something?
I don't know what the heck it is. It might be something like that.
All right,
maybe you can
go
work
ahead.
on that.
I'm going to work on this.
Okay, you figure that out. At any rate, so far, we're going to take a look at the week ahead, of course, because it's Monday morning. We want to find out, want to plan things out this morning. Cool temperatures for Monday and Tuesday. Now, I'd like to call it mild across the Midwest, but my hands are tied. I just can't do that because it's going to be mild to the south of us. Well, it's got to be a little different. Temperatures will be a little cooler up here, but not too bad. A little above normal for the Midwest. Some light snow possible on the Great Lakes, and some snow and rain possible in the Southwest. It's going to be a wet week in the Southwest. In fact, temperatures are going to remain mild to even hot in Texas. Should be some 90s down in the Big Bend area of Texas coming up the mid to late part of this week, but some snow possible across Denver if you're traveling out there late this week. We'll continue mild to cool. Not too bad here in the Midwest and fairly dry. It's dry outside right now. Current temperature is 28 degrees. The dew point is 24. And the Twin Cities looking at very light winds out of the southwest, only 3 miles an hour. Skies currently clear and the pressure is on the rise. That's a good sign. Look at mild temperatures again later on today. Highs should top out somewhere in the 30s across most of central Minnesota. Possibly some 40s in southwest Minnesota. A little cooler up in the Arrowhead, but again, not too bad. The coolest air shifting again to the east, mild in the west, and that's what we'll have to come. Temperatures averaging out a little above normal this week ahead. Our current forecast for midday calling for temperatures to be somewhere around 35 degrees at midday and perhaps having partly cloudy skies at that time. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15. Later on, drive time this afternoon, 35 again, mostly clear. Looking at north winds. Tonight, low temp drops down to about 15 degrees, clear skies, light and variable winds. And then tomorrow, temperature up to about 38 degrees, some increase in the cloud cover in the afternoon tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday back to sunny to partly cloudy, and temperatures slightly cooler, but not too bad. Right around 30 for a high and in the teens for lows, which is near normal this time of the year. Bob, could you figure anything out on that?
First of all, do you know the answer to this?
I don't. That's why I asked you.
I would imagine that it's a term for comes once every 4 years.
Okay.
Wouldn't you think? You don't know the answer?
I don't. That's why I asked you.
Better go up to the weather office, get that dictionary, because we're going to get lots of calls, people wanting to know.
We'll work at it.
We'll work on it on the next 40 minutes here. Here are the top stories in the news. Northwest Airlines flight attendants say a strike is possible at any time. There were no talks between union officials and company representatives yesterday. A spokesman for the Teamsters Union, which represents the flight attendants, says the strike is still on hold, but that could change at any time. An opposition coalition in Panama is calling for a nationwide strike today to protest the ouster of President Eric Del Valle. Del Valle remains in hiding this morning. Yesterday, Panama's military chief, General Manuel Noriega, said that Del Valle did not have to escape from officers who surrounded his house on Friday because he was not under arrest. Secretary of State George Shultz returns to Israel today for more talks with Israeli officials on the stalled Middle East peace effort. Shultz was in Cairo yesterday and met with Egyptian President Mubarak. Shultz said he and Mubarak came up with a promising package to revive the stalled peace effort. The Arizona Senate opens arguments today in the impeachment trial of indicted Governor Evan Mecham. Mecham was impeached February 5th by the Arizona House for, among other things, concealing a campaign loan. 624, 28 degrees now in the Twin Cities.
And up next, scandalized TV evangelist Jimmy Swaggart made another tearful appeal to his followers for forgiveness. That and more when we return.
If you grow soybeans, try Command from FMC, the only grass herbicide that also controls broadleaf weeds. At 1.5 to 2 pints per acre, Command controls grasses and broadleaf weeds without damaging the crop. And Command controls weeds all season long because...
Hi, I'm Peppy Schroeder, and this is my husband, Rudy.
Together, we lost over 100 pounds on the Nutrisystem weight loss program.
I lost 65 pounds.
I lost 36 pounds.
We ate delicious food, learned healthy new eating habits,
and got great support.
Look, 2 years later, I haven't gained a pound, and he's not going to either.
Don't wait. Call now.
You are looking at a map of metropolitan St. Paul and Minneapolis, outlined by a 100-mile circle of the Twin Cities area. Terry Feldman Nissan is your only Twin Cities Nissan dealer within this 100-mile circle to have earned the coveted Customer Satisfaction Award presented by Nissan. Terry Feldman Nissan is St. Paul's nearest and Minneapolis' only Nissan dealer open all day Saturday for parts and service. Terry Feldman Nissan, 2 minutes west of the airport on 494.
Scandalized TV evangelist Jimmy Swaggart appeared on national television yesterday morning in a broadcast taped earlier in the week. Swaggart has been suspended from TV evangelism for at least 3 months.
Jimmy Swaggart was back in church after what he described as the darkest week he's ever experienced.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
It all began last Sunday when Swaggart stepped down from the pulpit amid allegations he had paid a prostitute to perform pornographic acts. On Monday, Louisiana Assemblies of God officials recommended Swaggart stop preaching for 3 months and submit to 2 years of rehabilitation under church supervision. While thousands came to Family Worship Center this Sunday to hear Pastor Jim Rentz preach, they did hear from Swaggart, who looked to the future.
First of all, this ministry belongs to God. Secondly, this ministry will continue.
He also alluded to his future when he spoke of his spiritual hunger.
But for the next 3 months, I want to be fed. I want you to know I'm hungry. Don't spare on the Holy Ghost calories. I don't want celery and cauliflower or sunflower seeds. I want some meat of the Word.
Swaggart said he made it through the darkest week of his life only because of the kindness, love, and compassion of his followers.
The time now is 6:27. It is 28 degrees on this Monday morning in the Twin Cities.
Still to come on this morning's report, an update of the threatened strike against Northwest Airlines.
Where would your business be or your career without reliable telephone service? Some companies leave their customers wringing their hands, hoping for the best. But not Aircom. Aircom sells reliable tie systems that grow with your business. And when you need service, locally based Aircom is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. Call Aircom, the local company that responds.
Aircom, may we help you?
Aloha, I'm Ed Hogan, owner of Pleasant Wine Holidays. Why do we call it pleasant? First, you get a pleasant, affordable price for a week in Waikiki that includes airfare and hotel. Plus, you get a pleasant greeting, a pleasant trip to and from your hotel, and pleasant people always on hand to assist you.
What a pleasant way to go to Hawaii.
Pleasant Hawaiian Holidays. See your travel agent. We make paradise affordable.
This is the Great Chevy Face-Off, featuring the 1988 Beretta ST at your Twin Cities area Chevy team dealers. Beretta ST 10463 with all this equipment. And when Chevy's Beretta ST faces off against Chrysler LeBaron with the same features, Beretta beats LeBaron by over $1,730. If you're buying this week, your best shot is Beretta ST at your Twin Cities area Chevy team dealers.
It only happens once every 4 years at Sun Valley Waterbeds, the giant leap year half-price sale. Buy any waterbed this Sunday or Monday and get the waterbed accessories you want at half price. Select waveless mattresses, padded comfort rails, quilted mattress pads, king-size pillows, comforters with matching sheets. Yours at half price with 0 down and no payments till June. Special hours Monday from 10 to 10 during the giant leap year half-price sale, only at Sun Valley Waterbeds. Don't miss it.
6:29 now, 28 degrees in the Twin Cities.
In the headlines this morning, in Panama, the country's president continues to hide from would-be jailers. This after Friday's overthrow by strongman Manuel Noriega.
Embattled Arizona Governor Evan Mecham is scheduled to be tried by the Arizona State Senate for alleged wrongdoings and mismanagement of funds.
And the 1988 Winter Olympics are over, and later we'll take a look back.
But first, a look at our top story, the threatened strike against Northwest Airlines. So far, the airline is still flying, but how long that will be the case is anyone's guess. Most of yesterday was spent in negotiations, and today, top union officials hope to call on the airline's top executive officers. Most of the issues are resolved. The lone hang-up is said to be wages. Eyewitness News will keep you posted on developments as they continue to unfold. Right now it's 6:30, 28 degrees. Jerry Peterson joining us this week over at Metro Traffic Control to watch the morning traffic for you. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and things continue to run very smooth for a Monday morning. You will find traffic on the build, especially if you're traveling through St. Paul. 35 east southbound between 36 and 94 is moderately heavy now. Speeds are still near the posted, 50-55 miles per hour. 94 westbound. Through Spaghetti Junction, Mounds to Marion, moderately heavy at 50, but it's on the build as well, so look for the delays as we keep on going into this Monday morning rush hour. I'm Jerry Peterson for Eyewitness News Morning.
I want to know the definition of this word.
I'm working on it. I don't know.
It's not in the dictionary.
It's not in Webster's, but I'm working on it.
It's in the Farmer's Almanac, but not in the dictionary. So what's the word again?
Bissextile. B-I-S-S-E-X-T-I-L-E.
Okay, if anybody out there knows, so you're going to continue to search, though, in the volumes of
weather data,
okay.
Yeah. I'll work on it. This morning, if you're traveling, though, you'll want to know about the current conditions. First of all, it's mild outside. In the Twin Cities, our temperature's 28 degrees. The winds are very light, so it's fairly comfortable. The light jacket probably will do if you're going to the airport this morning. If you're traveling again, the current temperature in the Twin Cities, there's a nice shot this morning. Southwest winds at 3 miles an hour. Traffic is a little backed up there. Looks like 94 perhaps this morning. Flyway forecast, okay then, here it is. If you're traveling to the south, there could be a few delays along the Gulf Coast from Houston to New Orleans up to Baton Rouge. They have some fog this morning. It's going to be very warm in San Antonio, 82 degrees for them, 38 for Chicago, partly cloudy. The only really rainy, wet weather up on the West Coast, 57 for showers in Seattle and 67 showers for Los Angeles. Okay, that's where this disturbed weather is. Some patchy clouds and upper-level disturbances moving very, very slowly to the east, and it'll continue to give them fairly wet, perhaps even snowy conditions in some of the mountains out to the west. Across the Midwest, not much precipitation around here. Here's the fog along the Gulf Coast. It'll stay down to our south, and we'll wind up with sunny to partly cloudy skies through much of the week ahead. If you don't believe me, not much precipitation. Here's the National Radar Summary. Some very light showers, snow showers around the Great Lakes, and here's some thunder showers across Texas and some showers in the west, and that's about it. So it's fairly dry. It'll continue dry much of this week ahead. For us this afternoon, then, weak trough of low pressure slides into the state, about 38 for a high temp in the Twin Cities, 34 for Alexandria, and sunny skies across the extreme southern part of the state, perhaps partly cloudy across central and northern Minnesota. Our forecast for midday, then, temperatures around 35 degrees and partly cloudy, northwest winds at 5 to 15. Drive time for this evening, 35 degrees, mostly clear, light north wind at 5 to 10. Later on tonight, the temp drops out to about 15 degrees, mostly clear, another comfortable night. And then tomorrow, back up to about 38 degrees, sunny in the morning, increasing afternoon clouds, and perhaps a few flurries for overnight tomorrow night. But again, no big snow in sight. And Bob, I know you want to do a little more skiing, don't you?
Yeah, there's still plenty of skiing.
I think Bob wants to do a lot of snow shoveling. That's what he's really missing here, is the opportunity for a little more snow shoveling.
It's my hobby, you know, during the winter.
I'll try to please you, but hopefully only at your house, not at mine. Well, in the news this morning, the candidates are gearing up for another day out on the campaign trail, and aides to Vice President Bush have claimed victory in the Maine caucuses. Bush has a commanding lead over Pat Robertson and Bob Dole. Bush has a summer home in Kennebunkport, Maine. On the Democratic side, Michael Dukakis is the front runner for the Democrats. Uncommitted Democrats formed the second largest group. In Panama, military strongman General Manuel Noriega maintains tight control on the government, but opposition to Noriega is growing in Panama and here in the United States. John Quinones reports there have been calls for a U.S. trade embargo and even reconsideration of turning the Panama control over to local control.
Immediate response to the Catholic Church's call for democracy in Panama. Noriega, you tyrant, your time is running out, they chanted.
We feel like hostages under the narco-military regime of Noriega.
During Mass throughout Panama today, Catholic priests strongly criticized the Noriega government, calling for a non-violent end to military rule. But the Noriega regime is giving no indication it plans to loosen its grip on power. Panama's new president, handpicked by Noriega, is now choosing a new cabinet. Government party leaders say the threat of a U.S. trade embargo has only served to unify Panama in its search for new allies.
Please, don't kill us of hunger, because we are going to survive, and maybe we will have to go and look for food somewhere else.
Meanwhile, Eric Del Valle, the president kicked out of office by Noriega, is still in hiding in a safe house somewhere in Panama City. In a phone call to ABC News, he would not disclose his whereabouts, but he denied the government claim that he's under the protection of U.S. officials.
Not request asylum nowhere. I'm going to stay here in my country and fight it all the way out.
The president's family, however, has sought the protection of the U.S. government. His children and grandchildren are now staying at the home of the American ambassador. The ousted president vows to remain in hiding until international and economic pressure forces Noriega from power. The opposition hopes to provide that pressure with a nationwide general strike, now scheduled to take full effect beginning tomorrow. John Quinones, ABC News, Panama City.
Secretary of State George Shultz continues his Middle East peace shuttle today. His trip has been marked by protest and little success until yesterday. An unidentified U.S. official said Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak supports the U.S. peace plan. Shultz will meet today with Israel's foreign minister. Fewer economists are now predicting a recession in the near future for this country. Karen Stone has that story in today's Morning Money Matters.
Morning. The number of economists predicting a recession this year has dropped significantly, according to the National Association of Business Economists. About 25% still expect a recession, down from about half of those surveyed last November. And according to the University of Michigan, U.S. consumers' fears about a recession this year have diminished also. Nearly half those surveyed expect improved conditions this year, but many still express concern about the long-term vitality of the economy. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow opens at just over 2023, up 8.62 points overall last week. Wholly owned and operated American companies may well become a thing of the past, according to political economist Robert Reich. He told ABC's Business World the key to American competitiveness is investment in American employees.
The real issue, regardless of whether the firm is an American-owned or foreign-owned company, the real issue is what kind of skills and capacities are American workers learning so that they can generate wealth in the future. It doesn't matter if it's Fujitsu, it doesn't matter if it's Bridgestone Tire. If American workers are learning a lot about new technologies and new production systems, then we can contribute more to an increasingly integrated world economy.
And that's a look at the economy this morning.
If you'd like to check on your stocks today, see how they're doing on the market, you can call CityLine at 645-6060.
At the University of Minnesota this morning, word that U of M President Ken Keller is going to buy some of his office furniture himself. Keller spent $200,000 for remodeling, and now, after coming under criticism for the cost, he says he'll pay $15,000 for his desk and credenza. And some students at the U of M want their college president to resign.
Keller, we want to know what you're doing with our dough.
Yesterday, students went to President Keller's home to protest. The students say the questions about cost overruns at the president's home are reason enough for Keller to step down. College senior Becky Minnick had sharp words for Keller.
Down university enrollment, made it harder to get into the university, and we have no say over what he does except for right now. And now we want to tell Ken Keller it's time to resign. Aloha, Ken.
Thursday, the students have another protest planned at the president's campus office. Well, if your birthday is today, it's the first time in 4 years you've had the chance to celebrate. This is leap year and leap day. And of course, if you're 80 years old today, you could argue you're really only 20 if you were born on this day. For the rest of us, those who don't have birthdays today, there's not much that we have to do to keep up with this day, except maybe to check the day and date on our watches.
It's hard to do that sometimes. You forget, and then you're a couple of days behind.
Yeah.
We're keeping track of many other things besides the calendar this morning. For instance, right now, 6:39, 28 degrees in the Twin Cities.
And we'll also be taking you out east to the home of the largest pig palace, so be sure to stay with us.
In all the world, there's only one way to travel, the Uniglobe way. No other travel agent is as professional, as well-trained. No other travel agent cares more for your travel needs. That's why Uniglobe is the largest travel agency franchise network in all the world. One world, one you, one travel agent, Uniglobe.
One thing about pre-emergence herbicides, you need a timely rain to make them work. New Tandem changes that. Instead of watching for rain, you watch weeds die. Tandem post-emergence herbicide doesn't need rain for activation. It goes to work the day you apply it. In one pass, a Tandem tank mix combination cleans out over 30 grasses and broadleaf weeds all season long. Don't let pre-emergence herbicides leave you in the dust. Try New Tandem, then stand back and watch weeds die.
Lime away every day, and you won't have hard water stains.
Amber's $1.99 jumbo breakfast. 2 farm-fresh eggs, 2 buttermilk pancakes, 2 country sausage links, and 2 strips of hardwood cured bacon, only $1.99. Embers, big taste, small check.
Well, when you say the word Cincinnati, you think of a town that could be termed the heartland of America, industrial metropolis, home of Pete Rose and the Cincinnati Reds. Well, Cincinnati's now celebrating its 200th birthday, and they are creating a new image for the city. ABC's Edie Magnus has the story.
And these little winged piggies? Why, they will fly all the way home to Cincinnati, Ohio, which this year is celebrating its bicentennial. They're building a park here to commemorate 200 years of history. 4 bronzed porkers perched on pillars will greet all the park goers, a prospect that's drawn a passionate response.
Pigs are dirty, running around in mud, and we don't want Cincinnati to be I don't want Cincinnati to be showed off like that.
I think everybody's taking it much too seriously.
Seriously, indeed. Not even raising bus fares drew such a crowd to City Hall. Some pro-pig council members sported snouts for the occasion, while the animals took the hostility in stride. The controversy has provided ample fodder for cartoonist Jim Borgman, who believes this is not so much a story about pigs as it is about pride.
People who are real proud of this town, with good reason, and they got worried about how people would perceive them, what our image would become.
In fact, the pig has a prominent place in Cincinnati history. During the 1800s, the city was dubbed Porkopolis because it was the pork-packing capital of the world. But why wings? Sculptor Andrew Lester explains he took the idea from the winged animals that adorn the famed columns of Venice.
Many animals throughout history that have appeared on capitals of buildings and columns and bridge abutments all sprout wings, so that's a venerable tradition.
And some say the folks here are gently learning how to laugh at themselves a bit, how to tolerate artistic creativity, just by letting a few pigs hog a bit of the limelight during Cincinnati's birthday bash. Edie Magnus, ABC News, Cincinnati.
You think anybody's going to be running to steal that idea from them?
No, but a lot of ribs there. Look like you make me think of barbecue ribs looking at those things.
Well, next up in sports, the Olympic Games in Calgary are now in the record books.
Can you believe it? The Gopher basketball team had a great chance to move up in the standings, couldn't do it. Joe Schmidt with sports next.
Bacon, bacon, bacon. Say, did you know Oscar Mayer has an easier way to find leaner bacon? Oh, yeah? Just find the Oscar Mayer Center Cut Bacon section. Okay. Cover your eyes. That's easy. And pick any package. Any package. I got it. It worked. Right. Because hand-trimmed Oscar Mayer Center Cut Bacon is verified 25% leaner than regular bacon. So it's just the best that it can be. We got it. What a team. Yeah. Oscar Mayer Center Cut Bacon. So much leaner you can buy it with your eyes closed.
To take measurements as quickly and accurately as you want, you'd need wings. Very sticky feet. Or new Digitape, the ultrasonic tapeless measure. Digitape's ultrasonic system lets you accurately measure wall to wall, floor to ceiling, or object to wall with speed and precision never before possible. Digitape displays the measurement in feet or meters. Digitape, the professional tool that makes measurement jobs fly. New Digitape, nothing else measures up.
On occasion, Buster and I venture east of the Rockies to visit relatives. Sometimes his, sometimes mine. So I've tasted the coffees they serve back east. Unfortunately, you can't get MJB. Out here, of course, MJB has been the standard of premium coffee flavor since 1881. And since 1881, people have been moving west. Yeah, I know. Probably a coincidence.
MJB. Premium coffee, cup to cup, century to century.
Next time we're taking this with us.
John Belushi was the bad boy of comedy that America loved, but America didn't see the binges of cocaine and worse. Only his friends could see the demons that inspired and tortured him.
People used to think that he had this gruff kind of exterior and that he was, from Animal House, he drank the, he ate the whipped cream and he did all that stuff, but he was a very literate man.
The short life and fast times of John Belushi.
Watch A Current Affair, Monday at 6:30 on Channel 5.
I'm Bob Bruce, and on the next Twin Cities Live, we'll meet inmates from the Minnesota Correctional Facility. All women who are there to serve time for felonies they committed. Monday at 9. Well, when you count up the medals, there's not a lot to count, Lindsay.
No, certainly not for Minnesotans. But Jill Trenery, is she going to be back?
Yeah, I think Jill will hang out. I don't think there's any question she wants to be there in 1992. The next is the
Debbie
Worlds.
will be gone. Katarina will be gone.
Yeah, she's going to be up there. She'll be one of the favorites. That's a long time away. In 4 years, the Winter Games will be in Albertville, France. Yes, they'll still be talking about the miracle on ice in Lake Placid. The networks will still be missing goals by playing commercials. And the Russians and East Germans, will probably win all the medals. It just was not a very productive Olympics for the United States when you take a look at the medal count. The Soviet Union and German sports factories came up with the majority. The U.S. will leave Calgary with 6 medals, only 2 of those gold. So now the Summer Games, they're next in Seoul, South Korea. Clem Haskins can throw out that halftime speech he used yesterday. It certainly didn't help the Gophers. Minnesota took over 5.5 minutes in the second half to make a basket. Until that time, they were playing a pretty good game against the Wisconsin Badgers. Watch the nice feed coming up here from Mel Newborn to Marlon Maxey, and the Gophers trailed by 1 at the half. For the first 5 minutes and 15 seconds in the second half, the Gophers could not hit the broadside of a backboard. Now, that allowed the Badgers to take the lead for good. Trent Jackson was the mad bomber for the Badgers, dumping in 30 points. Minnesota made a run at the end, but the closest they got was 6 points. The 81-70 loss dropped the Badgers in the 9th place in the Big Ten. The Minnesota North Stars don't know how to win a game, but at least they know how to start a game. For the second game in a row, they took a commanding lead and blew it. The Stars were up against New Jersey, and they led 3-0 real quick. Rick Bowe scores his second goal in 2 games, here to put the Stars up 2-0. The no-name Stars also got a goal out of Stefan Roy. It was his first goal in the NHL, making it 3-0. But the Devils came back behind a stellar performance by Pat Verbeek. This goal here will break a 5-all tie. It was his 4th goal of the game, and the Devils went on to beat Minnesota 8-6. Injuries have become as common as losses for the Stars. Another player went down yesterday. Mo Mantha injured his knee. No word on how long he'll be out. A sad note this morning, one of my favorites, former Brewer manager Harvey Keene, passed away in his home in Arizona yesterday. Keene was the tobacco-chewing skipper for the Brewers when he led them to the World Series in 1982. Keene was also a pretty good major league player in his days. He had health problems the last few years and passed away at age 57. A couple of other notes. Chip Beck won the LA Open tournament by 4 strokes over Mac O'Grady. And Mike Shanahan, a former Gopher assistant coach, is expected to be named coach of the LA Raiders, possibly today. He's a young guy, only 35 years old, working for Al Davis.
Really good for him.
Yes.
6:49 right now, coming up on 6:49, 28 degrees. The Olympics, they have come to an end, but our coverage, well, not quite, not just yet.
Nope, and coming up next, we'll be taking a look back at what it takes to win.
The #1 fitness exercise in the world
is cross-country skiing. And now it can be duplicated in your home with Easy Glider. Just 20 minutes every other day, an hour a week is all it takes to strengthen and firm all major muscle groups and lose weight aerobically. You'll burn up to 400 calories per workout, plus tone chest, arms and back, calves, thighs, and buttocks. Notice the quality construction of the sturdy metal frame. This handsome unit folds down quickly for easy storage. Other ski simulators cost as much as $500, but Easy Glider is just $59.95, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Grab the bargain. Call toll-free now.
To order your Easy Glider, call 1-800-248-7400. That's 1-800-248-7400. Use your credit card to avoid COD charges or send check or money order for $59.95 plus $9 shipping and handling to Easy Glider, Department 38, Canton, Ohio, or call 1-800-248-7400.
Come along and listen to the music. Open up your heart and lend an ear, you'll hear it. Come along and listen to the sounds of Tennessee. From country stars and city lights, down home days and uptown nights, history and harmony, they're all here in Tennessee. Tennessee sounds great to me. Tennessee sounds great.
I'm Steve Edelman.
I'm Sharon Anderson.
On our next Good Company, a cosmetic surgeon discusses the problems of patients who become addicted to plastic surgery.
And we'll reveal some of the best-kept secrets in the Twin Cities, like where to renew your driver's license without standing in a long line.
And our Gary goes ice climbing in St. Paul.
And it's kind of cold today, about 0. I don't know what the chill factor is, but I am not cold. This is hard work. You're working all the time.
Join us at 3 for Good Company.
This morning, a final look at this year's Winter Olympics with figure skater Debbie Thomas.
Plus, Burt Reynolds talks about switching channels, his new movie.
This morning on Good Morning America.
A little something here, Bill.
This is from the kindergartners at Frost Lake Elementary. I went to talk to him last week, and I told him I'd put this on the air from Frost Lake Elementary in St. Paul.
We do want to mention that Bill did color this himself.
No. Yeah, I'll color
Notice how well he stayed within the lines. I just want to compliment you on that.
Fantastic job. Sent me a nice big thank you note afterwards. Said thank you for coming to my school. Really appreciated that. Lots of phone calls.
That was after you gave them the lovely forecast.
Well, they had nice weather, too. Lots of phone calls this morning. Got to mention Rich Walker, Ruth Olvog from Kensington, Minnesota, out by Alexandria, both called with the proper definition. It's on page 208 of the World Book Dictionary. It's a noun derived from a Latin meaning bisexualist, which pertains to the leap year. So there you go.
I was right.
This morning, Bob was right. Okay. Almanac, let's check the current overnight low temperature, 27 degrees in the Twin Cities, and no precipitation since midnight either. We've had temperatures rising a little bit since we hit the low, and the record 9 below zero set back in 1980. Sun comes up at 6:53. In fact, it's already up this morning. Current temp, 28 degrees. The dew point, 24. Southwest winds at 3. Pressure rising. Skies are clear. Temperatures at this hour across the state, very warm, very mild, way above normal. You saw the average low for the state is about 14 degrees, and heck, we're twice that this morning. 28 in the Twin Cities, 27 in Duluth. A very weak cold front across northern Minnesota. North of the front is 19 in Warroad, 21 International Falls. The cold air will stay in Canada as the front sags south, so a very mild day coming up for us today. Temperatures will probably be in the 30s and 40s across most of central and southern Minnesota. The northern part of the state staying in the 20s. The coolest air staying in Canada, shifting off to the east. And this mild air, 40s and 50s to the west of us, that's what will be affecting us over the next couple of days. If you want really warm air, go down to Texas. The Big Bend will be in the 80s today, perhaps 90s by the mid to late part of this week ahead. All right, the forecast for the mid part of this day, temperatures around 35 degrees with a partly cloudy sky at midday. Northwest winds at 5 to 15. Drive time for this afternoon, 35 again, mostly clear. Light north winds. Overnight low temp tonight down to about 15, mostly clear. And then tomorrow, sunny in the morning, then increasing afternoon clouds with high temps about 38 degrees. Could be some light snow or flurries for Tuesday night, but no big deal. Back to sunny to partly cloudy. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, nice, mild weather. Temperatures near normal, around 30 for a high, and temperatures in the teens to around 10 for low. And again, that's not bad this time of the year, although it's been very dry the last few weeks. And the farmers are saying we could use some rain for the planting coming up this spring.
You know, you think they could get them a little smaller writing tablets.
No, well, these are cue cards.
A little hard to learn to write when you're writing this big.
That's how I follow along. I get these cue cards out here. And
isn't that wonderful?
Dear Bill, thank you for coming to Frost Lake School. Thanks for showing us the instruments. Thanks for the experiment. tornadoes, thunderstorms. We did have a lot of fun out there.
And also for the hot air, it says there?
No,
cold air and hot air. I see, okay.
Thanks, Bob.
6:54 now. Jerry Peterson's checking on the traffic for you this morning before you step out the door. Good morning, Jerry.
Wish my cue cards were that big. I wouldn't have as much trouble as I do. Good morning, everybody. Traffic levels are on the bill as we take a look. 35W southbound between Highway 36 and downtown Minneapolis. Moderately heavy to heavy. And if you're traveling on the crosstown eastbound between Highway 100 and 35W, you'll find it moderately heavy. But the heaviest traffic will be in the left lane. In fact, slow and go from Penn Avenue to the crosstown. 694 eastbound, 169 to Brooklyn Boulevard. You'll find traffic levels are very heavy already. And in fact, speeds are down to 35 miles per hour. I'm Jerry Peterson, reporting live on Eyewitness News Morning.
And here's a look at the headlines this Monday morning. Flight attendants for Northwest Airlines say a strike may come at any time. There are no talks that occurred yesterday between the two sides, but Teamster officials met with union negotiators and with members. Opening arguments got underway today in the impeachment trial against Arizona Governor Evan Mecham. The trial expected to last up to 8 weeks. There were 23 individual counts listed in the articles of impeachment drawn up by the State House earlier this month. Secretary of State George Shultz is back in Israel today after yesterday's meeting with Egyptian President Mubarak in Cairo. Shultz says he and Mubarak have drawn up a promising package to revive the stalled Mideast peace effort. And Britain's Prince Andrew and his wife Sarah, seen here attending a church ceremony, are in Southern California for 10 days on a promotional trip for British goods. Last night, the couple attended a $1,000 a head benefit dinner at the Biltmore Hotel. And in sports, we're going to have no more Calgary stories coming up here for the next couple of days. That will be difficult to get used to.
Give it at least a week, we'll have another Calgary story. It's a slow day on the sports calendar. The Stars are off until tomorrow night when they take on Pittsburgh. The Gopher basketball team will play at Ohio State on Wednesday. Later on this week, the Final Four in the WCHA hockey tournament comes to St. Paul. The Gophers advanced by shutting out Colorado College twice this past weekend. Rob Stauber was unreal. Look for some coaching changes today. Willis Reed to be named the head coach of the New Jersey Nets, and word out of L.A. is that Mike Shanahan will get the Raiders job, maybe today. Bill?
Joe, another nice day coming up. Plenty of sunshine around. It'll be, maybe a few degrees cooler than yesterday, but looking for mid to upper 30s for highs, light north winds. I don't think you could ask for better weather this time of the year for a leap day or a bisexual day. Bob?
Today at 9 on Twin Cities Live, a look inside the women's prison in Shakopee. We will talk to the people who run that prison, and we will also meet women who are there serving time for the crimes that they committed. What's it like on the inside? Are women treated differently than men in a correctional facility? Women in prison, today at 9 on Twin Cities Live. I hope you'll join me.
And later this morning on Eyewitness News Midday, Neil Murray will have consumer advice on your behalf. And the Everyday Gourmet will show us today how to make cookie cups as a quick dessert for your family or last-minute company. This plus all the day's news coming up at 11:30. But that wraps up the news for us right now. If you know news that's happening, please give us a call on the tip line. That number is 5TV News, 588-6397.
Up next, Good Morning America, and we'll also have local news updates for you at 7:25 and 8:25. And as Bill said, it's going to be a great day out there, so enjoy Leap Day today. As you know, the Olympics are now history. They have run their course for another time. They leave in their wake a lot of thoughts, a lot of memories, and for some very dedicated people from Channel 5, it was an opportunity to get close enough to
KSTP, Minnesota's News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charles Gibson, and in this morning's news, a general strike has been called in Panama today by opponents of General Noriega. They are going to try to shut down the country.
Also in the news, in politics, the main caucuses. George Bush was an easy Republican winner. Michael Dukakis won on the Democratic side. Jesse Jackson a strong second. Spencer?
Well, there's hardly a hint of winter weather today. Nearly spring-like warmth will dominate the map, but it's still cold and snowy in the northeast.
And good morning, everyone.
It is Leap Day, February 29th,
So
Monday.
women speak first. Remember, this is the day we get to ask you guys to marry us and all this stuff?
It's because the year is really 365 and a quarter days long, and they have to make up the time. But I always thought it was because the Olympics are in leap year, and it was done for the figure skaters who do their leaping and the broad jumpers who do their leaping, but not true, apparently.
That's, I think, what they call a stretch.
Yeah, it really was a stretch.
This morning, something else that does come along every 4 years is the Olympics, and we will look at the highlights, one of which, of course, was Debbie Thomas. We all waited for it. Saturday night, she won a bronze medal, and she will be joining us from Calgary.
Also, the United States is concerned about its interests in Panama, of course, including the future of the Panama Canal. As the government crisis there continues, we are going to talk with Panama's UN ambassador this morning and with the leader of one of its main opposition groups. Also this morning, Burt Reynolds is going to be here, Perry King. Right now, though, we go to Washington, where Jed Duval has the news. Jed, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. Joan. Good morning, everyone. South African riot police have arrested Archbishop Desmond Tutu and other leading church officials who were leading an anti-apartheid protest on Parliament. Richard Sergey is in Johannesburg and joins us live with this report. Richard.
Jed, this morning the church leaders had gathered in St. George's Cathedral to protest the latest restrictions on the black political organizations. And the group was headed by Tutu, who was dressed in his purple robes, and he and other church leaders linked arms and attempted to march on Parliament several blocks away. As they left the church singing, a squad of some 50 riot policemen declared it an illegal gathering under the emergency and arrested the group. Other churchmen knelt in prayer and were squirted with water cannon and then arrested. Late word, however, is that Tutu has just been released on his own recognizance, and police say they are investigating charges against him.
Richard, do you know if anyone was hurt in this, and do you know how many people were arrested altogether?
So far, there are no reports that anyone was hurt. However, a lot of people are quite wet from the water cannon, and that's the latest at this point.
Okay.